I always found it interesting that life, if you really think about it, has been built off of the blind leading the blind for thousands of years. Remember that society is built off of dogmatic ruling based on cultures and other practices, but we as the people are more focused on enforcing rules and dogma rather than the depth of this. It makes sense too, because for society to evolve and adapt, we need to prioritize utility over understanding sometimes. What I mean is that a lot of things need to be simplified for it to survive and spread across nations, empires, kingdoms, cultures, and so forth. By oversimplifying concepts in life, it makes it easier for people to follow and then essentially enforce it to others, which goes back to what I meant about the blind leading the blind. A few people were leaving comments about last video, right? And I completely disagree with this perspective that they were giving because it's very surface level. It ignores the depth of your faith. Some people were saying that in the Bible, Jesus, as his final instruction, said to essentially preach the gospel to others, right? I believe Mark 16 verses 15 to 20, this is also mentioned here, like go into the world and preach the gospel to all creation, right? I actually find this verse, and when people take stuff like this is why I should preach the word of Christ to everybody. I find this to be one of the most misinterpreted things ever in Christianity. If there was like a top 5 most misinterpreted or oversimplified verses out there, this would be number 1 or number 2. And it's sad because it's this serious that people take this way too literally, that their whole life is based around this. And it's going to be hurtful to find out that your whole life is a lie because you took something for surface value rather than how deep it really is. It's devastating. Jesus told his disciples to spread the gospel, not you. You hear what I said? Jesus told his disciples to spread the gospel, not you. But you see what happens? And if you disagree with that, check this out, watch. What happened? Look at history. Dude, hopefully you know your history of Christianity, right? And other religions, let's just say that, right? What happens when people who aren't his disciples spread his gospel? You see what happened to Christianity? You see what Christianity has done for the thousands of years once people got in power or control over it and wanted to spread it? You see how people use Christianity as a weapon today and in the past? You see how priests, bishops, and other important figures misuse this? You know why? Because they weren't his disciples. They were blind. And they were led by someone blind as well. Remember, the blind leading the blind. So my point was, if you're a true Christian, this was my point in the last video. If you're a true Christian, not a performative one, sorry, my Amazon thing, Alexa, anyway, but if you're a true Christian and not a performative one, you would follow the behavior of Jesus, which is love, compassion, forgiveness, understanding, and private devotion. Not some random bozo in the comments or on social media, or some random dude knocking at your door or down the block who just met you, who has skeletons in his closet and hasn't been freed of all sin, telling you about the word of Christ and how to live like Christ. And if you're vulnerable, you'll fall for it. You have to think logically about this. Think logically, okay? You ever wonder why doing that instruction that you're simplifying about what Jesus said about spread the gospels and tell other people about this, right? You wonder why that pushes people away from Christ and, destroys your friendships, relationships, your family, and so forth, and makes people dislike you or think that you drank the Kool-Aid? It's because you misinterpreted and oversimplified what Jesus said, and you have no idea what he really meant. Nobody on this planet, actually, maybe besides a few people historically or some priest or genuine, I won't even say disciples, only like a few people on this planet really have the direct influence and the enlightenment Jesus required to truly spread the gospel. So this is why when you go around doing that, if you did that to me, I'll be like, who are you? Are you some enlightened being? Are you Jesus? No? Okay, so why would I listen to you? When I could just do my own research on this person and have my own personal relationship with the story of Christ. But I asked this question twice. I said, who are you? Right? This is what I meant. Where when people in power, historically and even modern times, when people of these sort get in power or influence, they use spreading their beliefs. They're following Jesus, are they not? They're spreading the gospel, are they not? They're spreading their beliefs, but they're doing it for ego-driven pursuits, for numbers and control. A lot of times, I think people follow this instruction in the simplified way because they want to pursue control. I think it's ego-driven oftentimes. Like people, it's not just like, it's weird. Like Jesus didn't behave like this. So why do you think that this instruction is Jesus telling you to do the opposite thing of how he lived? Like, what sense does this make? This is like completely illogical. And this is how many belief systems and cultures have become so watered down and misused against other people and completely misinterpreted in society. I think this happened to every religion, by the way. There were people, if you look back at the deep historical roots of a lot of religions, it started off with somebody who was genuinely like, they got it. Like, they understood what this was supposed to originally be. And then people were like, oh, all right, I'm gonna spread the word what this enlightened person told me. And then then we got I won't mention other religions, you know what I'm saying? Because I don't know why, like, people are gonna start getting offended. I mean, Christians already probably got their panties in a twist. But like, if I start mentioning other religions, I'm not trying to get the whole world against me. You know what I'm saying? But I think this is what happens too. You get what I'm saying? It all started off genuine, and people were using it for good purposes, and then the blind started leading the blind because they were trying to spread the message, and the message wasn't from the originator. In this case, it would be Jesus, right? Or let's just say his disciples. And this is the thing, like I said, it's easier to simplify things and tell someone, yo, these are the rules because this is beneficial to what society wants. Or these are the rules because this is what I was told to believe. Like, that's very easy to do, right? To simplify it. Because people are going to be like, oh, okay, well, I guess those are the rules because everyone else is following the rules like that. And this is different than looking at a lens for what is truly helpful for everyone to be happy and to express love and compassion to each other without it being conditional. Some people, like, they only love other people, or they only express love, happiness, good news, or compassion to other people if they follow a certain belief system. That's not like what that literally. What kind of prophet? What is this? What is this? What religion are you? This isn't really the religion that you say you're subscribed to. What is this, bro? And most people live their lives by loving others when it is conditional. And I think it's because of this exact thing that I'm talking about here. Society or the culture or ideologies you grew up in could have deeply psychologically impacted you to where you can't, or at least struggle to find it in yourself to come to a true place of service and love to others, regardless of what they say, what they have, where they're from, and what belief system they have. And this influences me too, by the way. Like, I have my own things where, like, I think I'm much better now, but there are certain things where, like, it makes it hard for me to have compassion for certain people. Like, it makes it hard for me to love somebody without a certain, like, asterisk to it. You get what I'm saying? Even if I don't know you, I love a lot of people who I don't really know, but sometimes there's like an asterisk. You get what I'm saying? And that's the thing. I'm blind too. And this is all rooted from blind people leading other blind people. And they're gonna lead more blind people. That's the story of life, though. How many times have you believed something someone told you or what you saw online, and then weeks later or months later, you're like, wait a minute. This was wrong the whole time, and I believed it. And usually what happens, and that happens because either life will correct you because you learned something, or life will smack you across the face for being wrong, or you had a moment where you were searching deep within yourself. Maybe you were just like daydreaming or something, or just like deep in thought, and you were reanalyzing something that you once thought was true, and you're like, wait a minute. Now that I actually lifted the blinds up and I'm thinking to myself about this doesn't even make any sense. What was I thinking? Why did I think this was true? Like saying you hate yourself, or you're not good enough, or you hate this person for what they did. Like, how many times has someone done something to you and you hated them for so long and then realized, like, wait, that person who hurt me, I actually get why they said that to me, why they did that to me now. Dang, I was mad for like 9 months, bruh. But I shouldn't have been, realistically. I really shouldn't have been that mad. And that experience is something happening within you. Your own blindness kept you blind for this. And maybe you were blind originally, and that caused your reaction because of something, maybe something influenced you in the past to trigger that emotion for 9 months straight, rather than just accepting, not resisting, and immediately understanding why this happened. You see what it's like going down a road of accountability here. You know what I'm saying? Like, you see what I mean now about depth versus simplifying? The simple way to handle things is to be mad and stomp your feet for 9 months. because you don't need to do any inner work. What work do you need to do? Seriously, like if you could just spread the word of Christ without doing any work yourself, that's just easy. You know what I'm saying? Instead of having your own personal thing, like what is this about? You know what I'm saying? Just people just move on autopilot with their emotions. But the deeper thing to do is to analyze, accept, and use it as a teacher. I said this a few videos ago, but if I'm wrong, life will teach me. If I'm right, life will reward me. So that's the cycle of life. Let's leave it at that. Let me know what you guys think. I love you all. I'm out.